You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
I think as you progress in life, you start to wonder what your placement is in the world. Like, you know that you came here with the intent of being something and doing something. So I don't think it's unusual for people to think and say, man, what is my calling? What am I to do? What is my purpose? You know, there's different phrases that people use. And I think it's really one of those things that are part of our element of our self-discovery, right? Our self-exploration, tapping in and challenging yourself to dig deeper and find out, you know, what things in life move you. And as we graduate through life's events and days and times and months and years and experiences, I think we find out eventually more about ourselves because of our own interactions with the world, right? So there's this natural progression of a sense of discovery that we're working towards ultimately in our own walk and our own levels of evolution. And each and every one of us are designed in that way, right? It's just whether or not are you consciously looking and really digging to see what that means for your life and how you played that part in the world, or are you unconsciously just going through life and just doing and being a part of the realm and just existing, right? So for those of you who are one of those people that have found yourself employed to know more about, you know, what you desire to do in the course of your life, this may resonate with you, right? So I know for me, I've had the joy of of awareness of certain things that either come naturally or things that have been of interest to me, and taking on those opportunities of doing it or having an experience. And sometimes what happens is you'll find things that become passionate to you. They may be something that just becomes like a hobby or something that you enjoy doing. And that's the wonderful thing about your life, is you get to choose what that looks like, and you get to have your own opportunities of what you're going to give your time and focus to. So for many of us, we are preparing for the new year. And because of that, this kind of conversation is not unheard of. I think a lot of people are starting to think about, okay, what's the next thing that I'm looking to do or working towards or experiencing. So guys, I think this is a great time to have this conversation. Y'all know what time it is. It's Monday, and it's time for Sonny's Money Motivation. Let's go. Welcome to Loudmouth Radio Network. My name is Sonny. As a former professional athlete turned entrepreneur realtor and the producer of Loudmouth Radio Network, I look forward to bringing content to you that empowers, inspires, and entertains you. Tune in each week as we have unscripted and unfiltered talks from entrepreneurship, real estate, politics, entertainment, comedy, LGBTQ topics, day-to-day life, and everything in between. All shows available on demand 24/7 on your favorite podcast platforms.
Here at Wonderland Learning Center, we're located at 288 East Main Street in San Jacinto. We provide a safe and secure learning environment. We are now enrolling 2 to 5-year-olds with our preschool curriculum. We offer before and after school care. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks are provided. We accept all programs. We are open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Our website is wonderlandlearningcenter.com.
Portals Entertainment Center is a new 13,000 square foot entertainment experience now open in Temecula. Portals creates a space where your imagination can be set free. Step into an immersive entertainment center that will take visitors into one of our many attractions, which include 2 9-hole indoor mini golf courses, an immersive laser tag arena, a designated arcade space, a food service component, party and event spaces, and a hidden 21 and over lounge. Portals aims to give each visitor a unique experience, taking them to unknown worlds and experiencing an entertainment center like no other. Open 7 days a week, located at 26469 Inez Road in Temecula, California, in between At Home and Temecula Theaters. Come check us out and step into adventure.
The Breeze Effect is your premier destination for professional in-home wine tastings and mobile wine bar services. Our customized mobile trailer is designed to bring a touch of elegance and sophistication to any event. At Breeze Effect, we believe that every celebration deserves an intimate and unique experience that you and your guests will remember for a lifetime.
So, what is your calling? How about, I told you guys when I have my little burst of inspiration, sometimes I'll look to seek for things that may have relevance to my topics. And long and behold, I guess that's just why I have these things around me, these wonderful books and opportunities to be able to tie in my conversations with some good literature, right? And so I have this book that I stumbled upon some years ago that is a book of little inspirations. And in this section, long and behold, what is your calling? Is a section, and I'm going to read it and share with you guys and kind of dive into the conversation that I've started in the introduction, right? One of the first classes I took in college was a seminar on vocation. I've never heard the word vocation before, so I looked it up to learn that it's just a fancy name for an occupation. At that point, I was sure my vocation would be advertising, because after watching Helen Hunt come up with a Nike campaign where the woman is running on pavement in the early morning mist in a 2000 movie, What Women Want, advertising was all I wanted to do. But during this course, I realized that a vocation is more than a job. A vocation is your calling, derived from the Latin vocare, which means to call. It is the job we feel we are meant to do. The idea of a calling daunts me. Even in my 30s, I feel ill-prepared to take on something as big as that. Isn't a calling reserved for special people like Barack Obama, Oprah, Beyonce? What could I possibly be called for? We all have a calling to ourselves. Toni Morrison says in an interview on Oprah on Oprah.com that our job as free people is to free other people. Ooh, that's good, right? That if we have power, our job is to empower someone else. Hey, because beyond our job titles, our real job is to improve the well-being of those around us in the time we get to live this life. No matter our job, our vocation is to understand as much about ourselves as we can, and then to share that real empathy with the world. Empathy changes reality. It opens up human connection in a way no other emotion can. When you look at it this way, you know you don't have to be Beyonce to have a calling. You realize that your calling is coming from inside the house. It's not some grand light that will shine down on you and show you the way. Your vocation is an invitation into your own spirit. So bring your best humanity. That is your calling. Wasn't that good, guys? Some PowerPoints in this that I as I was reading it to you, that stood out to me. And one you've heard me say many, many times before is one of my core values, which is empowering. And I feel like there's this divine force in us that ignites us to be able to be more. And when we're not being self-absorbed, we'll find that we have so much more ability to effectuate other people. And as we're doing the things in our lives, believe it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, a lot of what you're doing is impression upon other people. If they're able to see or watch or witness your movement, your walks, your ups, your downs, your successes, your failures, then you're actually really empowering some people around you to see, because you're still moving, you're still going forward. You know, I can tell you from my own experience, there have been things that I have accomplished that have been wonderful, and there have been some hard failures, right? There have been some hard falls, some hard lumps, some hard thumps. But each and every time you have those experiences, it does something. It does something with your chemistry. I think that it does something to your brain, and it makes your body develop a certain type of element that gives you another level of ignitement, right? As long as you're still willing. When you stop pursuing, when you stop desiring, when you stop goal setting and goal orienting your actions, that's when you start minimizing. That's when you start, as they say, quote unquote, dying, and you just come to this level of just plain existence, and you're not thriving towards something. Now, I'm not saying that you need to consume your day every day with something that doesn't leave room for you to have other aspects of your life happening. But I do feel like that to have something that you are driven to be and do, it helps for you to have that component in your life. It's the life force that's pushing you to continue to keep going. I've been able to bear witness, unfortunately, to see when people have lost their zest and they've no longer have the capability or the control to keep moving toward that direction. And what happens is, as a human, we start dying. We really start minimizing our ability to desire the elements of life. And that's when things can get, health becomes a issue. Mentally, it could be, dimming the light within you. So I think that even with this segment, each and every Monday, I try to give elements that can spark something that maybe you've already been thinking about or feeling. And you may need to hear some affirmations about it. You may need some encouragement to continue to keep going, and for you to know that you're not alone in the walk, that we're all doing these things, that we're all processing our lives. We're all taking into account what life looks like for us. And in the midst of that, we're amongst other people who are moving and doing things on their own. And I think it's important that we recognize that each and every person on this earth is doing the same thing. We're just at all different levels, all at different spaces. But we're really not isolated to be something that the next person isn't. It's just whether or not they've achieved certain levels of where they wanted to get to. But everybody's shifting. Everybody's always moving and doing things to enlighten their lives, which has helped me to understand better in regards to my human connection to other people. And I think that once you get a grip on that, you understand that everybody's just looking to pursue their own walks. And it makes it not so personal about how people interact with you or not. Right. Secondly, taking time to give yourself that kind of focus and making those levels of determination to make sure that you're implementing the things that are important and staying on those tasks. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he mentioned the aspect of taking certain steps and knocking out those steps before they move to the next thing. And that's an important part of how processes of how we do things may work. You can't do everything at once, right? It's just not a natural way of being. And all of us have different ways in which that we occupy our day, right? But it's also equally important to strategize how you're going to achieve, deep diving into those elements of you that are pivotal in your development, because there's some things that you're not here to do and resonate that type of existence and focus in, but there are things that you are here to do. And I feel like when you're quiet enough and you're in tune enough, you'll feel those things pulling at you, and you'll find yourself either you're making time for it or you're not. Or you're maybe, you most likely, like a lot of us, you're juggling the things that you're doing around life. And so as long as you're giving it some time, and only you know how much time things can get, and the importance of balancing it all. But I just charge you to continue to keep going for whatever it is that's in your heart. It's in your heart chamber to do, because those are the things that are going to be so much more rewarding. And I think that the worst thing that we can do as humans is not explore certain things, because that's where resentment and regret can lie, because we didn't give ourselves the opportunity. I've had to learn to even watch my language as it pertains to certain things, because there are times when I may see something that has been in my development for years, and maybe it's been in my little box, and I haven't been able to fully engage it or fully put it out there, and it may come across that something else or somebody else or something is showing it, and it just poses sometimes as a reminder. But I'm gonna tell you, even for myself, I've had to remember not to get frustrated or angry at myself about maybe not being able to do that particular thing, because once again, I know for me, a person like me, I am a full alt-right creative. So my brain, even when I'm not even trying to think or conceptualize things, I see things and get impressioned and get inspiration, and it could just go off and take off on its own path. And so I've learned to kind of, bookmark it or notate it and put it into my little kitty caboodle of list of things that may be of interest, and maybe there's something that I can take and do with it. And if not, it'll reveal itself. But for me, because of that, I know I have to work twice as hard sometimes to stay focused and not allow myself to be drifted into 5 different directions because of that. So for you, I think that it's one of those things that, do you ask yourself, am I doing what I feel like I should be doing in the course of my life? Am I doing some next level living, right? Am I pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone? Am I shifting to adjust some things, or am I sitting dormant? Whether it's work or relationships or life steps, right? Educational steps. If you're in school, if you're taking on courses, if you're learning a new trade, if you're learning a new skill, if you're learning how to adapt to certain things, so there's all this room, and we're in a space and time that there's no exception to being able to get educated. There's so many things now that is available to us that we got to, really eliminate the excuses, because a lot of times we're making so many excuses about why we're not, or why we can't, or why we haven't, versus what are we doing that will allow us to tap into some bigger things and explore what that looks like. And in order for you to get to that, you have to put yourself into a position and not allow yourself to be consumed with the thoughts of what I didn't do or how I didn't do it. So what I think is so important now at this day and age, if you haven't taken a look around you, life is moving very fast. And when you get to a certain age, it seems like every day is 2 or 3 days lapsed. Because I know at one point this year, I felt like we was having 2.5 week months and not 4 weeks. And so for me, like this month, I had to make some adjustments. I canceled my monthly show that I normally do on my comedy production that I do every month here in Temecula. And it forced me to have to take charge of some things. Just physically, I was experiencing some overload that my body showed it. My body showed it, and it forced me to have to slow down and do some self-care. And one of the biggest things, guys, that I think that's important that we have to remember, especially at this point of the time of the year, going into the new year, burnout is real. And recognize sometimes that you just need to give yourself a break and not allow yourself to be driven and pushed by life or by people or by responsibilities. Because trust me when I tell you, it will take you and try to take hold of you. And it can create levels of stress like that can be invisible to your eye, but it'll show up in your temperament. It can show up in how you're doing things, how you treat people, how you talk to people, how you interactively empathizing about things. If you find yourself not really paying attention to people in the space when you're around and you're not being as considerate as you could be, it just plays out in so many ways. And so I think that when we element our minds about our calling and what we're looking to do and be, and challenging ourselves to be a higher level of person, it starts to make us look at things differently, and it makes you take inventory of how you're conducting your life, how you're allowing yourself to move through life, how you're allowing people to deal and interact with you. How are you showing up for other people, and how are people showing up for you? You can take inventory of all of that. And I do believe that when you see that your capabilities are exhausting, and you're starting to lapse in judgment, you're starting to lapse in activities, that's a signal and a sign for you to pull it in and pull it back, right? And when you do that, it also can help you to be able to better center yourself, right? And so the things that we're doing as this article I just read to you about that vocation, our vocation of our life, right? We're here to be way greater than just the mother or the brother or the sister or the husband or the employee, the employer, the friend, the socialite. You know, there's deeper elements to each and every one of us. And so I think sometimes it's healthy to retreat and realign and unplug, right? And it will allow you to open up your senses more. And I think that is also a part of actually getting to a point of understanding what your calling is and how you're to be and move in this life. And that you can give so much more when you recharge yourself and you recharge your purpose and you recharge your mind and you recharge your heart. And, what does that look like? Well, you say, Sonny, I don't have a lot of time. This is where you have to make time, because then we can make excuses because, you know what, everybody has 24 hours in a day. I was looking at something the other day, and I think it was Dion Cole, and he was talking about, everybody has 24 hours. What are you doing with your 24 hours? And the last week when I definitely wasn't feeling well, and I found myself right after the holiday, just this extreme fatigue and just so many things that were just piling into me. And even when I wanted to push through, I just couldn't. So it goes to tell you that, pay attention to your body, pay attention to how and what you're feeding yourself. I've been fasting, intermittent fasting a lot more this week. And I work in a detox, from people, places and things and, information. I found myself more and more this past week of being in the house with no TV on and not necessarily listening to a lot of stuff, coming off of social media a little bit, which is hard, in the capacity because of, my business and all of the things that I'm doing. But I knew I needed to make some adjustments, and I just had to take a break. And it helps you to get yourself back into a center point of existence that makes you a better person. And I think, I know that many of us are working to bring about the holiday seasons for our loved ones and things that you may want for yourself. But I beckon you to consider, what is of value to you, and what are you doing to tap in more of what your existence is. And if you're a business owner, right, even put this challenge into your work, put it into your products, your services and things of that nature, and explore the aspects of what you're doing, and make sure that what you're doing is aligning with your values and the things that you really have in a bigger scope of picture of what you want to do and what you want the public to interact with you and how you want them to gather and interact with you. Right. So it's just really taking that full inventory, because even in that, when you have responsibilities like that, it gives even more reason why you have to take time out and give yourself that opportunity to do something about that and make it make sense for you. So guys, I ain't gonna run it in the ground. I think you got a full picture of what I'm saying. I want to just wish you a great week, great work week and a great week as a whole. We're only a few weeks away. I think we're less than 2.5 weeks away from Christmas and less than 3 weeks away from the new year. And so I'm looking forward to us going into 2025. January 2025 will be 12 years for Loudmouth Radio. So guys, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and let's make the best of everything. All right, peace. Performing comedy is like creating magic. To hear the room explode with laughter is priceless. And to produce comedy is like having a glass of Stella Rosa, the ability to have others wind down with laughter. With Loudmouth Comedy, it isn't just about me, Sonny. It's also the many hardworking comedians that are dedicated to writing and performing night after night, stage after stage, displaying their talents to the world, and we all do it for the love of comedy. Sometimes you have to remember to relax and savor the moment, one sip at a time. Cheers. Here's to 13 years of Loudmouth Comedy.
Hello, my name is Takasha Smith. I'm the owner of Takasha's Kitchen, based out of Menifee in the Southern California area. As a chef and caterer, I provide private cooking classes, couples dinners, and private parties. As a female pitmaster, I am able to create a personalized experience for your family reunion gatherings. I create menus based on my clients' needs to have a more personal vibe. You can find Takasha's Kitchen on all social media networks such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and my YouTube channel at Takasha's Kitchen. And that's spelled TACASHAS Kitchen, KITCHEN.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network. You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.